You're listening to Let's Talk Sports podcast with me, Lucia. NFL, NBA news, and more coming to you right now. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Let's Talk Sports podcast with me, Lucia. So the rundown this week: last week's storylines, this week in sports history, the IL report, games in review, and week 3 NFL predictions. So last week's main storylines. This is a Bills world, and we're all just living in it. This is literally the Bills' time. They have a quarterback that's a cheat code. They have a wide receiver who is incredible. Their defense is stout. They have not taken a step back after losing Brian Daboll. They are just a freight train. And I don't know whether it was because they were playing the Titans, and the Titans are actually no good this year for some reason. But they just are so good. And it makes me wonder, is there any team that could possibly beat them at all? I watch them and I think, okay, well, there's no team that could possibly beat them. Could they run the table and go undefeated? I know that it's early thinking before that, but at this stage, that's what I'm thinking. The Bills. I'm happy for Bills Mafia. They've got a really good team they can get behind. Trey Lance for the 49ers broke his ankle and is now out for the rest of the season. Jimmy G has come back to start. That's why you keep Jimmy G. Because he is an amazing starter when he's starting. And he's great with the football. He keeps the football protected. And he has himself a day. Every time he's out there, it's an amazing day. Sorry, you're going to hear my cat in the background meowing. She's very sooky at the moment. I don't know why. But yeah, that's why you keep Jimmy G. And it's really going to sort of bring out why did the 49ers think that they needed to trade up in the draft for a quarterback. I think it was a little bit premature. A little bit. Because I don't think Trey Lance is a guy. Mike Evans is suspended for 1 game due to his fight against the Saints. Now that fight was pretty incredible to look at. I love watching fights happen. I'm someone that wants all the drama and wants all the smoke. Give me all of it. Not just some of it, all of it. I want it all. So yeah, it was great to see that fight. It was great to see it all. Mike Evans' defense was because it was Tom Brady, which, quite good defense. But yeah, that was a fight. And I'm just going to briefly touch on this because it's going to make me sick to think about. But the Eagles are good this year. Okay, that's all that I'm going to say. Eagles are good. They're the class of the NFC East. So yep, they're good. The Suns and Mercury owner in the NBA and the WNBA respectively, Robert Sarver is looking to sell after his suspension and fine for an inappropriate workplace environment. He was suspended for 1 year and a fine of over $10 million. So yeah, he's looking to sell. The front runner at the moment is Jeff Bezos to buy the team. The Las Vegas Aces win the WNBA championship. So congratulations to them and Becky Hammond for winning her first WNBA championship. I wish that she was strong enough to stay in the NBA so that we could potentially get our first female head coach. And Aaron Judge ties Babe Ruth with 60 home runs. So yeah, they're last week's main storylines. So this week in sports history, in 1969, San Francisco Giant Willie Mays becomes the second player in the history of the Major League Baseball to hit 600 home runs. I thought that was appropriate because of everything that's going down with Judge and the home run chase and all that. So the IL report. I've only got 2 people on here because that's all that we know so far. Jadeveon Clowney is out against the Steelers with a ankle injury, and Leonard Williams has a sprained MCL and will most likely miss the Monday Night Football game against the Cowboys, which will be a huge loss for the Giants. So now getting into the games in review. So I've chosen the 3 games are the Chiefs Chargers, Giants Panthers, and Ravens Dolphins. So I'll start off with the Chiefs versus the Chargers. The Chargers are going to charger. They just do stupid little things to make themselves lose games. And no matter how good Justin Herbert is and how tough he is, the Chargers are definitely going to charger. And it's sad to see because they need to win more so that they've got more fans. Because I have not met one Chargers fan. I've met a fan of every other team except for the Chargers. All 31 other teams except for the Chargers. Patrick Mahomes is still good. Can still go out there and play quote-unquote street ball. Although Tyreek Hill is missed in the Chiefs' offense, I think that is something that we don't talk about enough. The fact that Tyreek Hill is still very missed. Travis Kelce is becoming to Patrick Mahomes like Gronk was to Brady, sort of like a safety blanket. And we can see that now. And look, it worked for Gronk and Brady. Can it work for Travis and Patrick? Hopefully. And it's still the Chiefs division. After all that was said and done, it's still the Chiefs division. The AFC West is still the Chiefs division. Now, the Panthers versus the Giants. Daboll's coaching is winning them games, is winning the Giants games. And I want to build a statue for Wink. I just want to build a statue for him. That's all that I want. Just a massive statue. Huge statue for Wink. I hope that he doesn't coach too well and gets taken away from us. So, yeah, I will be and get taken away from us for a head coaching job. So yeah, I'm glad that we've got Wink Martindale and Brian Daboll. This defense is so good again. And DJ came up in the clutch. And I was thinking about this. This is what Giants football is. It's gritty and ugly. You don't see flashy plays. You don't see all that. You just see some really gritty and ugly football that got out to win games. And that's what Giant football is. The Panthers look like they're in trouble. And Baker doesn't look good at all. Like Baker, I don't know what Baker needs to do, but he's just not looking good at all. We have now the Ravens versus the Dolphins. Tua had a career game. I think that Tua's 6 touchdown game will go down in history as an amazing game. Tyreek Hill and Waddle both are really good, and they've got really good connections with Tua. So that will be good for the Dolphins going through. The Ravens defense needs to get better. It's not good at the moment, and it needs to get really better. And I think that this is one of the reasons why Lamar Jackson wants out of the Ravens. I think it could be just because I really want Lamar Jackson on the Giants, but I think that Lamar Jackson wants out. So, we've got NFL Week 3 predictions. So we've got first, Browns versus Steelers. I am going with the Steelers. We have the Dolphins versus the Bills. I'm going with the Bills. I'm riding with the Bills right to the end. We've got the Jets versus the Bengals. I'm going with the Bengals because they are coming off an 0-2 start and they want to get back on track. We've got the Titans versus the Raiders. I'm going with the Raiders because I think they're better than the Titans. I think the Titans are in major trouble. We've got the Panthers versus the Saints. I'm going with the Saints. We've got the Pats versus the Ravens. I'm going with the Ravens. We've got the Vikings versus the Lions. I'm actually going to go with the Lions. We've got the Commanders versus the Eagles. I'm going with the Eagles. We've got the Colts versus the Chiefs. I'm going with the Chiefs. We've got the Bears versus the Texans. I'm going with the Texans. We've got the Chargers versus the first place AFC South team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm actually going to go with the Jags. We've got the Cardinals versus the Rams. I am going with the Rams. We've got the Bucks versus the Packers. I'm going with the Packers. We've got the Seahawks versus the Falcons. I am going with the Falcons. We've got the Broncos versus the 49ers. I am going with the Broncos. And we've got the Giants versus the Cowboys. Against all better judgment, I'm going with the Cowboys. Even though I want my Giants to win, I'm going with the Cowboys because I think that they're a better team. So that is all for this week's episode of Let's Talk Sports Podcast. I'll catch you all next week. Okay, so next week there is going to be a little change. I'm going to be doing a game day vlog of the Giants versus the Cowboys. I am also going to be recording a podcast. It might sound a little different because I'm not taking my microphone and headphones that I use here, but I will be recording out of my AirPods, so the sound might be a little different. So yeah, I'll catch you all next week. Bye.